I understand. Jack, we got everybody up online? Okay, good. Had 170 people online tonight, registering online. So are the days gone where you just come in person and see each other face to face, right? Okay. Live on Facebook, good. So we got folks that are coming in tonight, and I'm excited to be with you. Because what we're going to talk about tonight, you know, when I started my business at 31 years old, I had no lines of credit, no loans, no investors. All I really had was an idea and some confidence, maybe some naive confidence, right? But I believed that I could take a concept to the market, and I didn't know how much I could make with it. I certainly didn't know I could make millions of dollars with it. But I knew I wanted to start something. I knew I wanted to grow something. I knew at that time I was a basketball coach, and to be quite frank with you, I was bored. I'd won a championship. I'd done everything you could do. I spent the 10 years working the muscle. I had mastered that area of my life, and I felt like I was supposed to do something bigger. Okay? And I didn't quite know what that bigger was. Okay? And I was speaking, and one day I was speaking in West Tennessee to a nursing home owner and all their employees. And on the break, the CEO said, "Man, we got to talk to you. Got to talk to you on the break." I'm like, "Okay, great." They paid me $1,500 to come speak that day for a full day. And I went out in the hallway, and it was a husband and wife, and they said, "We want you to be our coach for the next year. We want you to coach all these nursing homes." Sound like real sexy work here? "We want you to come in and coach all of our workers." And I'm like, "What does that look like?" And they said, "We're going to pay you $150,000 to be our coach. A little over, like $12,500 a month." And I thought, shoot, man, I'm a basketball coach. I'm making, you know, $2,500 a month. I'm working 80 hours a week. These people are going to give me $150,000 to be their coach, right? And it was really the first time I understood the concept I'll show you tonight, is there's a big difference between a bluegill and a blue marlin, right? And I didn't know it at the time. All I was doing was working the muscle. I didn't know that opportunity was going to come along. I didn't know somebody's going to ask me to be their coach. But that client, that one client, gave me the courage to go back and retire from coaching. Because now I had new income replacing my current income. Everybody see that? So I go back. I'm bored. I'm tired. I'm overworked. I'm making $50,000 a year. I've won a championship. And I walk in one day and I said, "Man, I'm out. I'm retiring. Today's my last day." And I remember it like it was yesterday. I spoke in the morning at Reeves Sane, which is a pharmacy here. And on my way back, I said, "I'm retiring today. I'm done with this." And I walked in and I said, "I'm retiring." And they said, my players cried, I cried, we all cried. And I walked away from coaching. The only thing I'd ever known. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So now I got income, or at least I think I got income, $12,500 a month. And I hired a dude while I was still coaching and being a high school teacher to go do the coaching for me. And I paid him $5,000, and I kept $7,000. Pretty good deal, right? He was doing the work. I was coaching my team because I just couldn't retire, just quit. I'm paying him $5,000, and I'm keeping $7,000. And he's telling me, "Man, it's incredible." He said, "They love you, Coach Burt. They love me." And I would send him over to West Tennessee for a week, and he would coach these nursing homes, and he would give me these glowing reports. And I'm thinking, man, this is great. He's like, "They're going to sign you to another deal." And so I retired from athletic coaching. And it wasn't 3 weeks after I retired that I get a call from the CEO of the company. She said, "I got to meet with you in Nashville right now." And I go down there, and I'm sitting there, and she sits down, and she's like, "Look, this ain't working. This coaching ain't working." And I'm like, "What do you mean it ain't working?" I'm sending my dude over there to West Tennessee. He's telling me it's going great. She's like, "Man, he ain't coaching anybody. He's basically come over here goofing off all week. He's flirting with all the girls at the nursing home." Right? All the women at the nursing home. I'm like, "What?" She's like, we're terminating this contract right now. And I'm like, right? I'm sitting here, I'm scared to death. I'm thinking, I'm going to get sued right out of the gates of starting my business because he's not delivering what he's supposed to be delivering. And he's lying to me about what he's delivering, and I had no recourse whatsoever. There was nothing I could say other than, what do you say? So now I've got a business. I just had a job. I just had insurance. I just had benefits. I was just the top of my game. I was the #1 coach in Tennessee. Now I'm starting a business thinking I've got $150,000 coming in, and how much do I have coming in? Zero. I got no clients. I got no way to get clients. I got no way to make money. And I'm scared to death. And that is how I started this company, which is now a multi-million-dollar company. You understand where I'm going with this? And my granddad always used to teach me, son, you'll get motivated when your backbone touches your belly bone. You know what that means? When you're real broke and real skinny, you'll get real motivated. That's what he used to tell me. And so I'm like, all right, man, I got to go here and do something. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I had none of the things I have today that I'm going to talk about tonight. I didn't have an explanation of services. I did not have a selling system. I did not have a follow-up. I did not have a way to extract referrals out of my current clients. I certainly didn't have a person of interest strategy to become known in the world. And you're going to understand tonight why that's so critical. I didn't have anything other than just confidence and grit. And I'm going to get out there and I'm going to push and push and push. And a few weeks later, they called to ask Coach Rick Insell, who's the head coach at MTSU, to speak at a bank event. First Bank had a big bank event. And they called Rick Insell to speak because he's a college basketball coach. And Rick said, I'm not available, but you really don't want me anyway. You want this young kid named Micheal Burt. He's much better than me. And so they booked me to speak to their company, 500 employees. And I go in on a Saturday morning, and I had enthusiasm. How important is it to have enthusiasm every day? And I had energy every day. And I had positivity every day. And I had confidence every day. And I showed up and I gave this presentation. And I walked out, and the COO of the bank called me and said, come here, I want to talk to you. He said, man, I don't know what it is you got, but we want some of it. And you come and see me. If you ever want a job in the banking business, you got one. And I thought he was being nice. I didn't even know, in those days, I was so naive that was a big clue, right? He was wanting to hire me. So I just went along about my business. I didn't even follow up with the dude. It was a huge mistake, right? 3 months later, I get a phone call. He's like, look, man, I want to do something with you. And so we met for a little while, and he said, I want you to coach all 500 of our people. 43 locations, 38 branches, or 38 cities, 43 locations, and I want you to help drive the largest increase in our business that we've ever had here. And I'm like, okay, what's this look like? He said, here's 500 people. Now you're in charge of them. Good luck. Here's the goal. Here's the people. Figure it out. I'm going to give you 2 little assistants. Figure it out. I said, well, how much are you going to pay me for this? And he said, we're going to pay you $75,000 and a bonus. If you hit your goal, we'll give you another $75,000. So you got a chance to make $150,000 doing this. So thank goodness that person came along. And that really saved my business at that time. Does everybody see that? That one client saved my business. Now, let me tell you why it's important. How many of you believe every day with your current customer is an interview for your next customer? Okay? I went in there like gangbusters, and I drove a 43% increase for that bank. Okay? And they made millions of dollars off hiring me as their coach. They would go on to hire me 8 more years to be their coach. Okay? I made the $150,000, right? But more importantly, that word began to percolate out in the market. This little dude can get results. So then I began to get phone calls from other people, home builders and real estate companies and mortgage companies and other big home builders. And the next thing you know, old Coach Burt signing these 6-figure contracts, coaching these folks, right? So what's the lesson? Is if I wouldn't have gotten that one client, if I wouldn't have done a good job with that one client, if I wouldn't have serviced them well, I would have never had that opportunity. We probably wouldn't be sitting here today because I wouldn't have had a business. I would have been back coaching high school basketball, right? Now, I hear timing's got to be right. This is a big thing I hear all the time. Timing's not right. Timing's not right. Listen, folks, I would tell you we create our own timing. Timing is never right to do anything, right or wrong. Never. And I tell people when they use that excuse on me, if the timing had to be right, I'd still be a high school basketball coach. Because my team went on to win 7 more championships after I left, by the way. I would have just kept winning championships. Everybody see that? The time is never right to take an action. But when in doubt, take an action. So I created tonight, really for one reason. I want to give you all the tools and strategies that I use to grow a business. And the number one thing that I do today is grow businesses. Small businesses, big businesses. Tomorrow I've got a meeting, and that meeting may be worth $500,000. Okay? To do one thing, grow that business. Okay? Remember this, if you don't learn anything tonight, remember this, money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem is, the more money people will pay to solve that. If I help Dre make $1 million, he wouldn't mind giving me a good piece of it. Right or wrong? If I help a business make $10 million, they don't mind giving me $1 million of it. Okay? Some of you are still solving very small problems. And because of that, you're being compensated in very small ways. Some of you, your skill set is not strong enough yet to solve a significant problem in the world. So I call them, you're still doing little bluegill things. Does that make sense? You're not really chasing blue marlins, you're chasing bluegills. So your skill is not strong enough to command more money in the marketplace. Money doesn't buy you freedom. Skills buys you freedom. Because the better your skill is, the more money you're going to make. Does everybody see that? The small business owner almost always starts a small business. Why? Justin, why did you start your business? To help more veterans. Okay? He's a veteran. He wants to help more veterans. That's why he started his business. Why not just go work for somebody else? Already done that. Almost every small business owner started their life doing what? Working for somebody else. Then one day they go, you know what? I'm going to start my own gig here. Only to find out starting your own gig ain't quite as easy as you thought it was. Right or wrong? You got to learn how to brand and market. We're going to talk about tonight. You got to learn how to get customers. You got to learn how to service those customers. You're on the hook for all the debt. You got to make payroll every month. You got to figure out a way to make your next dollar. Like, it ain't easy running a small business, folks. This is why 4 out of 5 small businesses fail when? In the first 3 to 5 years. And then the other one that didn't fail fails in the next 5. So if you have a business that's made it 10 years and that business is profitable, meaning you have excess cash at the end of the month. Most small businesses are making $40,000 to $50,000 a year. Or they're breaking even. Well, let me let you know a little secret. Breaking even ain't winning, folks. Okay? And I hear so many small business owners say, I pay my bills and there's no money left over. You can never build wealth in your life with no money left over. The extra money the business makes is what is used to reinvest in your future wealth. Does everybody understand that? And if there's no money left over, there's nothing to, right? Okay, now I want you to think about this. When I'm talking to my financial advisor and I say, look, here's how much money I want at 50. I'm 44 years old. Here's how much money I want at 55. He tells me this is how much money you need to be investing every year. Everybody see that? And to have the amount of money I want at those ages, it ain't just a few dollars. It's a lot of dollars. Everybody with me? Now, where's that money going to come from? It comes from my business. Right? These properties you see me buy around the country. Today I was out at the lodge, 8,000 square foot lodge, sits on 23 acres. I had to put $293,000 of cash down on that property. Where'd that cash come from? Did it come from that money tree out there? You looking at the money tree. You understand what I'm saying? The cash had to come from somewhere to reinvest in an asset that lodge has the potential of making me $250,000 to $500,000 a year in passive income. Everybody see that? Probably one of the best investments I ever made. Any of y'all know an investment you can put $293,000 in and get $500,000 back in the first year? Very few investments you're going to make like that. Does that make sense? It will be the best investment I probably have ever made. If the Florida property works like it's supposed to, maybe we'll make $100,000 of passive income a year. That's not counting the retreat income that we generate from me doing retreats at these properties that I own. Everybody see that? That one's like a little 9-bedroom hotel because it's got 9 beds down there. It cost me $2.1 million to buy that property, by the way. Where'd the money come from? Mike, where'd the money come from? The coaching business. So I look at a business, a small business, and here's what I'm looking at. At the end of the month, how much money do you have left over? Have you paid yourself? Because most small business owners don't pay themselves. Have you paid your people? Have you paid your taxes? Okay? Have you paid all your expenses? Then, how much money is left for you to reinvest in something? Now, where's the first place I'm going to tell you to reinvest it? Back into you. Making your skill set stronger. Then back into your business. Right? Then back into your wealth building. Okay? Back into your true wealth building. All right? So I'm assuming not everybody in here wants to work till they're 100 years old. Well, the money's got to come somewhere. Right or wrong? I mean, what's the likelihood that Social Security will be around when you're older? Very small likelihood. Does that make sense? Okay? How many trillions of dollars do we have in debt right now in our country? These programs were set up where at one time, take Social Security, 21 people, it took 21 people to pay for one person's Social Security. Those numbers don't add up now. You know why? Somebody came along and had a bunch of babies. Right? Right? Come home from the war, everybody had babies. Now they're not expecting that. Now we don't have enough money to pay Social Security for all these people. So we get taxed. So everybody with me here? So I want you to take back control of your future, your financial future, your business, and everything. So tonight, that's kind of what I'm going to teach you. Now, I want this to be interactive. So Jack, they can ask questions online. You can tell me these questions. How many of you remember the day you decided to start a small business? Raise your hand when you remember starting, okay? Okay, so most people start a small business because they get mad at somebody else. Like, I'm tired of working for somebody, so I'm starting my own small business. And I'm not telling you that's not a reason to start a small business, but I do want you to understand how hard this is going to be. When people ask me, what's the biggest thing you've learned by starting your business? I say, how much money you actually have to make to keep any money. Everybody see that? This right here costs me $80,000 to $90,000 a year in rent. Just this one little place right here. Just rent. Where's that money come from? The business, right? Then we got payroll. Then we got marketing. Then we got a little website people. Then we got a sales team. Then we got customer service people, right? Like where does the money come from? So I'm going to show you tonight if you don't really understand the mechanics. Because if you look up the word entrepreneur, an entrepreneur only gets paid when? When they sell something. If you study the definition of an entrepreneur, nothing happens until something is sold. They only get paid when they create something, when they sell something, when they solve a problem for a person. So it sounds sexy. I want to be an entrepreneur. Okay? And there's a lot of people that are entrepreneurs from their apartment. Okay? And they don't have an office, and they don't have people, and they don't have a team, and they don't have anything. I get it, right? I get it. But how big can you really get? Okay? I look today, we produced 943 leads, 943 new people in our system since September. That seems like a lot of people, but I would tell you we need 9,000 people, not 943. But to some business owners, they're getting 5 leads a week. Everybody with me? We got 943 people that's done something, indicated something, shown interest in something, bought something, interested in something. Now our job is to sell those people into something else, right? And nothing happens until we sell them, okay? Nothing happens until we present an idea to them. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to learn how to brand, we're going to learn how to market, and I wish when I wrote my first book at 25 years old, the biggest thing I wish somebody would have told me is to help me understand the difference between branding and marketing. Branding is about becoming known in the world. You can't sell a secret. Everybody with me? Branding is how you go out into the world and become known. How many of you have ever tried to sell something to a person that didn't know you? And how hard is that? How much easier is it to sell people when they know you? When they know of you? Okay, so if someone had sit me down at 25 years old when I wrote my first book, I was still a little high school basketball coach, what I wish they would have told me is you need to spend time becoming known in the marketplace. And the way you're going to become known is through videos and partnerships, right, and campaigns. Because without knowing you, there's very little chance I can buy something from you. If you study brain science actually says you never lead with your core offer, because the brain is scared to death of everything. So you don't call somebody and say, hey, would you like to buy what I got? You give them a taste of it. I call it tasting ice cream. You know, you go to the ice cream parlor and they give you a little taste. Let me try to taste that. Then after you taste a few, what do? Then you buy one. You're like, I'll take that one right there. Okay? Well, I didn't understand that. So I just go out to the marketplace and try to sell my coaching programs to people, and they had no idea who it was. They had no idea right? So I spend a good percentage of my time every day trying to become known in the world. Webinars, free things, videos, partnerships, speaking engagements, anything to let people know me. Okay? Now, you know how hard this is, because we got a gym back here called F45, right? And I become partners in this gym, and the first thing I quickly figured out is it don't matter how good the workout is. It don't matter how I feel when I leave if I can't do what? If I can't get people in there. Everybody see that? You got to get past believing a myth that I believed for years, that if I was just good enough, people would know it. If I was just good enough at what I did, everybody would know it. That is not true. It's not the best products that win, folks. It's the best marketed products that win. Yes or no? Okay? Now you tell me Coca-Cola, anything about Coca-Cola is good for you. Might as well drink battery acid, right? But we drink it. We know what it is. There ain't nothing about Coca-Cola that's good for us. Nothing. They're great at marketing to us, right or wrong? They are great at marketing. They are great at branding. They are great at becoming known. Okay? So let's talk about the business. And I'm a coach, so I like to break things down to where it's real simple. Okay? I like taking complicated things and making them simple. Because there's a lot of confusion in running a small business. You're doing a bunch of things that don't matter. You're running around all day long doing all these things when you need to get clear on what it is you need to be doing. The purpose of the business is to do one thing: generate customers. Peter Drucker said that. Every activity you participate during the day that's got nothing to do with producing customers, in my opinion, is a low-value activity. Man, it is so easy. It is so easy to sit around and talk to your coworkers. It is so easy to play on Instagram. It is so easy to go to the bathroom for 17 minutes. It's so easy to take a long lunch. It's so easy to talk to your spouse. It's so easy. None of these things produce a customer. Everybody see that? The purpose of the business is very simple. What can I do right now to produce money? Everybody with me? What can I do right now to produce money? And when I coach a company, almost every company I coach, Gary, I see the same thing. They're wasting 3 to 4 hours a day on low-value activity. If I just watch them, these two talk about what happened this weekend, who's going to win the football game, are the Titans going to be any good or not any good, what happened last week, what's going to happen this weekend, then they go to the bathroom, then they talk to somebody, then they call their kid, then they do this. None of those things produce money. And if you just follow people around all day long, you would see how much time they really waste in low-value activity. This is one of the confusions. Then they tell me, I got a time management problem. Can't get it all in, coach. Can't get all this stuff I got in every day. Purpose of the business is to create a customer. I have caught myself selling a coaching program when I really ought to be solving a problem. Money changes hands when problems are solved. Okay? So when you're selling something, you really need to locate a problem. And you need to help a person solve that problem. So when I'm selling a person, I ask a simple question. Brian, what do you want to do? Brian says, well, I want to take my business from here to there. Okay, great. Here's what I recommend that you do. You need to come to this. You need to come to this. You need to be involved in this. You need to show this. You need to do these things. And then I have all these products for Brian. And I ask him a question. How do you learn best? Man, I really love him in person. Well, what you really need to do is come to one of my boot camps where you can spend 2 days with me breaking this concept down. I locate a problem, and then I offer a solution. What if you only have one solution? What if you only got one product? And I don't want that product. Now we don't have anything to sell you, right or wrong? One of my favorite shows out there right now is called Undercover Billionaire. And Undercover Billionaire is a show on Discovery where they take a billionaire and they drop him off in a city and all he has is $100. They take away his cell phone, so he has a cell phone with no contacts in it. He cannot tell people who he is. He cannot tell people he's a billionaire. And he has 90 days to produce a business that's worth $1 million. Isn't that a cool concept? We're going to drop you off somewhere where you know nobody. You can't tell people who you are. You can't use any of your leverage or influence. Right? You got to start a business from nothing, and at the end of 90 days, it's got to be worth $1 million. Or you got to give that city $1 million of your own money. It's a great concept. And I was thinking, Dre, if they dropped me off in some obscure city and I knew no one, what would I do? What would I do? Would I go to someone who's already making money and help them make more money? Is that breaking the rules? Because they may say, no, you got to start something from scratch and produce something that's worth $1 million in 90 days. I mean, that is a real mental challenge to think about. What would you do if you had to start with $100 and you knew nobody and you couldn't call anybody you knew and you literally had to just go somewhere and do this? Well, here's the deal. First thing you got to figure out is what kind of problem can I solve? And who would pay me to solve it? See, one of the best questions I like asking people is, what's the biggest check you've ever cashed? And where did that check come from? And where did it originate? And you backtrack the genealogy of that check. And then once you figure out where it came from, why haven't you gone back there and got another one? Okay? Last year, my biggest check came from an insurance company. And an insurance company paid me the most money to be their coach. Okay? Now, if you were coaching me, you'd probably say, who else owns insurance companies that are independently owned, not corporate, that you can go to, that you can be their coach to help them make a couple million more dollars so they can give you a piece of that money? Right or wrong? That's how you need to be thinking. What's the biggest check you ever cashed? Where did it come from? Where did you meet the people? How do you go back and get another one? See, we spend all of our time all day long chasing little bluegills. Little bluegills. Oh, let's just try to make a deal. Let's just try to make $1. Let's just try to do this. We don't ever step back and go, no, no, no. That group has a major problem, and they will pay me a lot of money to solve that problem. That's how we need to be thinking. That's why you hear me say there's a difference between bluegills and blue marlins. You can fish for bluegills in Percy Priest Lake, or you can fish for blue marlins in the Gulf of Mexico. Same fishing. Okay? Now, what's interesting is when I went deep sea fishing, I only been one time, is they take you out there, they take you out first to catch the little fish, and they use the little fish as the bait. And then they take you directly to where all the fish are. And it takes like 4 hours to get out there in the middle of the ocean. And the dude stops it, and he's like, they're all right there. And this is the extent of my fishing. Justin, here's what I did. I put it in there, boom. As soon as I put it in there, almost pulled me out of the boat. I caught the biggest fish all day. And I could run around and say, man, I was a great fisherman. But the truth is, he took me right to where the big fish were. Does that make sense? Makes you feel good, but you really didn't have to work that hard to find them. Well, your business is the same way. Who are the big fish? And how do I get in front of them? And how do we close more deals? How do we solve a problem for them? Okay? All of our activity every day should be around one thing, creating new customers. So, here's the confusion. The definition of confusion is randomness in motion. When a business goes out of business, why do they go out of business? Say again? Capital. Why do they not have capital? Because they don't have enough customers. See, Victoria's Secret shut down 250 stores. Pier 1, Ty Lopez bought Pier 1 and Dress Barn and Linens and Things. He paid $31 million to buy Pier 1. And he said, I don't want the stores. What I want are 31 million email addresses, 31 million phone numbers. I don't even want the retail store. I want to market to those 31 million people. If you had 31 million email addresses in your database, you think you can make more than $31 million? Yes or no? Would you rather have $1 billion or $1 billion friends? Because if you had $1 billion friends, you should be able to make more than $1 billion, right or wrong? All the money you're looking for, by the way, anybody walk in here tonight? Everybody drive in some type of car? You still in the car business, Mike? I asked my employees once, I said, did y'all walk into work this morning? I said, no, we drove, Coach. I said, everybody's got shoes on? Yep. Okay. Yeah. Everybody wore clothes to work today? Yep. That's good. I said, who paid for all those things? Just out of curiosity, who paid for the car you drove in here? Who paid for the house you live in? Who paid for the clothes you got on your back? You know who paid for that? Customers. What about every vacation you ever been on? Right? Other people paid for that, yes or no? You didn't pay for it. Other people paid for it. So if you want nicer things, bigger car, nicer house, you got to go get more people to pay for those things. Everybody see that? All the money in your pocket started in somebody else's pocket. And they exchanged their money for something that you brought to the equation. That's an exchange. This is just a piece of paper, by the way. It's just energy circulation. The people who produce the most energy make the most money. Would you agree? People who solve the biggest problems make the most money. Okay? This is just a piece of paper. Can be reproduced. Right? You look at money and you're like, man, how do people make a lot of money? Well, they produce big things. They take big gambles. They take big risk. Okay? Now, when you look at it, these are the confusions that I think the small business owner has. Number one, time confusion. And let me tell you why this is critical, is I hear a lot of people say, I got a time management problem. And I immediately say, no, you do not have a time management problem. You got a me management problem. You have a confusion of priority. What is the purpose of the business? To produce a new customer. Everybody see that? So what should your day be spent around? Creating customers. Now I don't have a time management problem. Okay? I'm a simple guy. When I'm at work, I'm at work. If you ever travel with me, if I talk to my wife, I may talk to her for a minute, maybe not even that long. Here's my talk with my wife. You okay? You need anything? Kids okay? Yeah, okay, good. I'll see you tonight. We don't have long conversations during the day. She knows when I'm at work, I'm at work. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to produce money and customers. I can't sit there and talk to her for 15 minutes during the middle of the day. We have our time, right? We have clear distribution of labor in our house. She runs the kids. She runs the real estate. I run the coaching business. Everybody see that? I don't tell her how to run her business, and she don't tell me how to run my business. And when I do tell her how to run her business, she always reminds me that she's not paying me to coach her. Does that make sense? She's like, I ain't paying you to coach me. Okay? I love it when she asks me for my advice, and then I tell her, and then she tells me she's not paying me to coach her. Now, so I've learned to say, you know, what do you think you should do, sweetheart? Now, time confusion is, how many of you have ever said you got a time management problem? How many of you have ever said that before? Okay? Now, tonight, we know the small business owner's got a time management problem. Now, at one time, I broke the Guinness Book of World Records for most speaking engagements in a day. I did 41 speaking engagements in one day. What I really did, why would I do that, number one? Why would I even come up with some tactic to do that? Exactly. Put you on the front page of the newspaper. When you do something unique, you get attention. So I said, we need to do something crazy. And a guy on my team said, why don't you break the world record for speaking engagements? I was like, well, what's the world record? He said, well, there's one dude that spoke for 16 straight hours. That's really the only world record out there. And I said, has anybody ever done 40 engagements in a day? And he's like, well, no. And I said, let's do that. And so we targeted 40 businesses, and I went to 40 different businesses and did short coaching sessions for 40 businesses in a day. I actually did 41 because I did one extra at the end. Here's what I figured out. Could have done 80, Tony. If we'd have better planned it, could have done 80 in a day. And I would go into these small retail businesses, and they'd have their little employees sitting there, and I would say, these were retail shops that sold clothes or whatever. I'd say, question for you. What are y'all doing today to get customers? They'd say, what? What do you mean? What have y'all been doing the last 3 hours to get a customer? They said, well, we haven't been doing anything. We've been straightening the shirts up. We've been sweeping the floor. We've been messing around with the cash register. And I'm like, you've not done one thing to get a new customer in here the last 3 hours. They said, no. We didn't know that was what we were supposed to be doing. We thought we were supposed to sweep the floor, straighten the stuff up. The owner never told us we should be calling our current customers. So where I was going a minute ago is Victoria's Secret's closed 256 stores. Linens Things, Pier 1, all these places closing down. Let me ask you a question. How many of y'all have ever got a phone call from any of those businesses? I asked my wife, have they ever called you? Have they ever thanked you for your business? Have they ever tried to get you back in the store? Have they ever called and told you they're running a special? You know what she said? No, never. They've never done any of those things. So there's no surprise to me what? Why they're going out of business. She said, now that group Sonoma, she buys all this stuff from Sonoma. She said, oh, they run specials, and they text message me, and they call me. And I said, that's why they're still in business. Everybody see that? So many of you tell me, man, the small business owner says, man, I got all this stuff to do. Oh, my God, I got all this stuff to do every day. I got to mow the grass out front, and I got to get the store clean. What you ought to be doing is have an obsession with what? Getting new customers. That is the highest value of your time. Okay, everybody clear on this? You don't have a time management problem, folks. You got a confusion of time, okay? What's the next one? A value confusion. You don't know what your real value is. And what I mean by that is you have tremendous value, but you don't know how to explain your value to the marketplace. So what does the marketplace see you as? A commodity. Our school systems pump out little commodity factories. They're little commodity factories. So the other day I'm going to school. I make my poor little 8-year-old daughter listen to Dolly Parton 9 to 5 15 times. Not because I think she's going to work 9 to 5. I'm like, do you understand when she says, I pour myself a cup of ambition, what does ambition mean? That's what I'm asking my 8-year-old daughter. She's like, well, it means get up and go, Daddy. And I'm like, all right, what's confidence mean? This. What does resilience mean? This. What does money mean? This. Y'all thinking, man, it'd be great to be this dude's kid, wouldn't it? And so, right, I'm asking her all these questions on the way to school, and she's answering. Here's what she said to me, Coach. She said, Daddy, they're not teaching me any of those words at school. Okay, let me see if I got this right. I'm paying $10,000 a year in tuition. They ain't ever said one thing about money. Nope. They ain't ever said anything about confidence. Nope. Resilience. Nope. Bounce back. Toughness. Ambition. They ain't never said one word about any of these things. She said, no, Daddy. The only time I hear those words are around you, which is why we pump out little commodity factories. Nobody knows what their skills are. Nobody knows what their talents are. Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows how, right? Does that make sense? Nobody has the toughness they need to go the distance. Because to run a small business, you know what you got to be? Tough. How tough do you got to be? To produce millions of dollars, do you know how tough you got to be? Real tough. If not, you'll be a small business owner making $47,000 a year. Now, how can you live on $47,000 a year? Really live, right or wrong? You can't really live on $47,000 a year, folks. So you got a value confusion. You got a systems confusion. We'll get into that. You got a sales confusion. You got a service confusion. Because I have a very different perspective than most people. I don't believe in customer service. Now, those people watching are going to freak out. I actually believe in customer engagement. I believe all referrals comes from engaging with your current customers. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Not just servicing your customers, engaging with them, talking to them, right? So if you see everything I do, there's a structure and a rhythm. My coaching program, every Monday I do a coaching session. Every Tuesday and Thursday I do a rhythm. Like I tell people, dollar for dollar, I'm pushing out more content than anybody on planet Earth. Dollar for dollar. I'm going to give you more value than any other coach in America. Everybody with me? And I believe that. Because I have a simple belief. I don't believe in service. I believe in engagement. You should serve the customer. Okay? Now, when you're thinking about this concept, I want to stop right there, and I want you to tell the person beside you, where do you think your biggest confusion is? When it comes to your business right now, where is your biggest confusion? Is it time? Is it value? Like you just don't know how to articulate your value. You don't have a good explanation of service. Is it systems? Like we are just running around as we say in the South, like chickens with their head cut off. Man, we don't have a plan in place. We're selling things and we don't even know how to service them. We don't have any structure in place. Like I want you to remember this. I want no friction. This is almost impossible. When you're servicing as many people as I am, thousands of people a month, I want it to be easy. Right? One thing I do like about F45, if I want to work out in the morning, I go to an app and I book the time I want. And it's simple. It says, you're booked. Simple. It's easy. Okay? We signed up like 50 or 60 customers this month, and they're getting the same email 4 times because some other employee in the past set up some automation. We're trying to figure out where the email's coming from that somebody else set up a year ago. You know, I mean, it's crazy. When you serve 1,000 people a month, man, you're going to have problems, right or wrong. I used to work with Demos's restaurants. They'd have 1,000 people come in there and eat. And Peter Demos would stand up at his meetings. He said, man, we had 3 complaints yesterday, Gary. 3 complaints. And I'm sitting over thinking, man, he served 1,000 people. Only 3 people complained about the steak? I'm like, man, don't you think you're a little hardcore here? He would go on for 30 minutes on those 3 complaints. Okay, we better cook that steak better today, folks. We had 3 complaints yesterday. And I'm like, man, when you service 1,000 people a day, you're going to have complaints, right or wrong. Now, my wife used to work at Verizon back in the early days, and she said people come in all the time that didn't know how to use a cell phone. They come in and say, this thing don't work. And they would take it in the back, do absolutely nothing to it, except turn it on, and bring it back out, and they said, here you go, we fixed it. And they say, well, what was it? And they said, well, that's called, it's an EDOT error. EDOT was their code word for idiot error. And EDOT error was, they didn't do anything to the phone except turn it on. And they said, well, we're sorry, that's an EDOT9 error. That's what that's called, an EDOT9 error. And they said, oh, okay, did you fix it? Yeah, we fixed it for you. It was just pure user error, right? Like if you never used Zoom in the year 2020, folks, we got a problem. Okay, but some people say, I don't know how to get on Zoom, Coach. Where's the Zoom link at? Hey, it's the same link we use every Monday, okay, all year long. It's an EDOT error, okay? No offense to any of my customers out there watching this, all right? Now, I want to stop right there, and I want to ask you a simple question. Tell the person at your table, where's the biggest confusion you got right now? And I want the people that are watching online, type it in the comments. Where's the biggest confusion you got about your small business? Take a second right now and work on that. got here? Bring him in, okay. Now, forgot we're streaming this live on Facebook, so sorry, sweetheart, that I outed you on the Verizon thing. On the E-Dot eras. All them customers she helped all them years probably watching. Now, here's my point. Where do we find out? Where you guys? Where's the confusion in your business? Remember this. Confusion is two things. Randomness in motion and a problem that appears to have no solution to it. That may be my favorite definition of a confusion. A confusion is a problem you have and it seems like there is no solution to that problem. A lot of people during this COVID period basically just threw their hands up and said, my business is going down the drains. Do you know how many businesses closed their doors in the first few weeks of COVID? They said, we're out. They said, we got a problem, has no solution to it. Now, in my business, a percentage of my marketing and income comes from speaking. And I went, I don't know, 90 days, 120 days with no speaking engagements. Do you think I just sat at home and said, hey, here's what it is, man. Shut the business down. But that's what a lot of business owners did. It's over. Right? Like that was their mindset. My mindset is real simple. It's going to be a fight every day. A dog fight. But dadgummit, we're going to find a way to win. That's my mindset. Okay, so I can't make money speaking. How can I make money doing webinars? How can I make money doing this? How can I make money doing this? How can I make money doing this? How can I open a new division? How can I create new membership models? How can I rework my pricing structure? How can I run specials? How can I, you understand what I'm saying? How can I pump out more content than I've ever pumped out? Like I'm not just going to throw in the towel and say, man, for 13 years I've been building this business and I'm going to let one external factor shut my whole business down. I'm going to find a way to win. But how many small business owners don't have that kind of toughness? They just literally just shut it down, man. Now, one of the things I figured out, and I think many of you figured this out, when tough times come, you need large amounts of capital. Yes or no? This is one thing I see in a lot of small businesses. You don't have enough money. So when tough times come, you need a lot of money. Okay? And most small businesses don't have enough money. And so they're constantly strapped to produce money. And you need a little runway, especially when something comes that's totally unexpected. Everybody see that? Where's that money going to come from, Mike? Customers. Getting as many customers as we can get. That's where that money is going to come. The money's going to come from getting customers. And when we get so many customers, we're producing so much revenue that our revenue is much greater than our expenses, and we got leftover money, and we're stacked. This is why almost every major financial expert in the world says you need 6 months of cash, right? In case something happens you don't expect. And I would even tell you may even need 9 months or a year's worth of cash. Because when something happens, now the only way to get that is become great at selling. That's the only way to get that much money. Selling yourself, selling your product, selling your service. So when I tell you that when I come to work, I ain't got time to gossip. I ain't got time to talk about what happened this weekend. I ain't got time to get involved in some kind of drama. I got to produce money. My business needs money every day for me to expand. So I ain't got time for all that low-level stuff, man. I'm going to come in and focus on getting customers. And if you're running a business and you let your employees come to work and goof off all day long and not produce money, then shame on you. That's your fault for allowing them to goof off all day. The purpose of the business is to produce revenue. And if you don't get that from tonight, man, you're not paying attention. When you're at work, it's called work for a reason, folks. Okay? It ain't called playtime or goof off time or flirting time. It's called work. We're here to work. Purpose of the work is to produce customers and money. And so many people will pull you into low-value activity during the day. Okay? So where was our confusion? Where did you guys come up with?
Customer engagement.
Okay? Customer engagement. Here's what I would tell you. That's right. Now, I'm going to give you a stat that I use specifically in real estate. And if you're selling any kind of real estate, and I just apply this to every industry I coach. I don't care if it's gyms, doctors, whatever. The national statistics in real estate tell me that every deal should be worth 5.7 deals. Every time you do something, it should be worth 6 deals if you do it right. Every satisfied customer you have should be worth 6 more customers, which is why I said in the beginning, every day your current customer is a what? Interview for your next customer. What if you never engage with that customer? See, here's what I hear. Oh, if we call our customers, they might complain. So let's just not call them. What's the likelihood of getting a referral? They're going to complain, by the way, right or wrong. If you don't think people complain about me every day, you have lost your mind. I don't like Coach Burt didn't do this. I didn't get enough time with Coach Burt. He didn't say it like this. I don't like his southern accent. I don't like how tall he is. I don't like the fact that he's bald. Whatever. Right or wrong. Eric listens to it. We had one customer just had a fit that I had a jet. I mean, I can't believe Coach Burt's got a private jet. Like, why has he got a jet? Why has he got to have a jet? Why does he got to do this? What does it matter? What does it matter if I walk around the country barefooted? You understand what I'm saying? But this customer called in to complain that I had a jet, okay, that I worked for years, by the way, to be able to get. And I said, tell them I got a son and an 8-year-old daughter that I'd like to see every now and then. That's why I got the jet. They'll feel real good then, right? When you tell them why I really got it, which is to go do something, go home and see my kids. It's not to be flashy. It's because this is what I do for a living. It's travel all over the world. And when you're on the road 300 nights a year, trust me, you'll be looking for some way to get home too. Right or wrong? So my point is, people complain about the dumbest things. It's like silly. Like, what are we talking about this for? You're going to hear these things, and so you cannot get distracted by these low-level things when you're running a business. This is majoring in the minors, okay? So customer engagement is, once we do a deal, there's probably 6 more deals in there if we just engage with people, okay? All right, what did you guys come up with?
Well, for me, it's lack of structure.
Okay, okay? So there's a confusion. Now, when you don't have structure, guess what you do? You're just pulled all over the place. When you go to work and you don't, so we have a time structure here. We meet at 8:30 every morning. From 9 to noon, basically, we do nothing but new customer acquisition. Then we eat lunch. Okay? Then in the afternoon, we love on our current customers, try to engage with people, try to produce new money. Everybody see that? So new money is prospecting. Afternoons, loving on current customers. We solve problems in the afternoon. We prospect in the morning. We solve problems in the afternoon. That's real simple, isn't it? Now, that don't mean 9:30 we're going to get coffee for an hour. That means when we're at work, we're here trying to produce new customers. So here's what I don't want. I don't want my people talking to each other. I'm like, don't bother him. He's trying to make money for his family. Don't talk to him. Don't look at him. Don't distract him. Let him make phone calls. Does that make sense? Like let's understand what we're all doing here. Okay? And so I see so many people distract each other at work. The word distract means to pull apart. Mike, what'd y'all come up with? Where's your confusion? There you go. Okay? Now, every one of us have a confusion here, don't we? Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you the first thing to building a business. I want to put these in categories. Okay? So we're going to talk about how you brand, how you become known, how you market, how you make outbound effort, how you service the customer. Those are 4 big areas of building a small business. Okay? Number 1, we got to become known. So one confusion I see is we don't understand the value of becoming known in the world. Okay? We don't understand the value of becoming known and how much easier it is to sell something when you're known. Now, I'm speaking at a conference this weekend, and old Wolf of Wall Street's going to be speaking there. Y'all know Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort? Okay? They're paying him $50,000 to speak at this conference that I'm speaking at this weekend in Dallas. He has a negative net worth of $100 million. Everybody hear what I just said? Negative. Because when he was a investor, he frauded people out of money. He's never paid that money back. He actually has a negative net worth. But he became famous because they did what? They made a movie about him called The Wolf of Wall Street. So now, they're paying him to speak on selling because they made a movie about him. And he's got a negative net worth. I don't know him. I'm not saying I don't like him. I watched the movie. Surprised he's still alive. But then he's turned this into a brand. And he's making money now. And good for him, you know. But my point is, what's the real lesson there? Become known. Because he's known, he's got more opportunity. The people that become the most known get the most opportunity. Everybody see that? Now this goes against everything. I was teaching my daughter this morning on the way to school. This goes against everything we were taught in school and how we were raised, which is fit in versus stand out. We are taught to fit in. Don't make any noise. Don't get any attention. Don't draw anything to you. That's the worst advice a business owner could ever hear. You need to stand out. When I wrote the book Zebras and Cheetahs, I was trying to get attention for the book. It's hard to sell a book. If you ever want to try to sell something, write a book and try to sell it. And I was doing a book signing at the airport, Nashville Airport. Nobody knew who I was. These little authors would come over there with their book, and they would bring a pen, and they'd sit there at a little thing, and they'd just wait on people to buy the book. People just walk by them, walk by them, walk by. And I watched this, and I said, man, nobody's buying their book. And I wrote a book called Zebras and Cheetahs. I said, how can I get attention at the airport? So I called over to the zoo, and I tried to rent a real-life cheetah. You should have heard this phone call. I'm like, this is Coach Burt. I got a new book out called Zebras and Cheetahs. I'm wondering if I could rent one of them cheetahs. And they said, no, man, it's a wild animal. Can't have a cheetah running around the Nashville airport. And so I said, what's the next best thing? Like, what can I bring over to get attention? So we got all these cheetahs, zebras and cheetahs, fake zebras and cheetahs. We wore these ugly zebra print jackets. We brought a camera crew with us because when cameras are involved, people think you're important. And we walked through that airport strutting through there with them zebra print jacket on with an entourage of people. You know what we did? We sold the most books they have ever sold in a one-day signing at the Nashville airport. Hudson came to me and said, we want you to do a book signing every weekend. I'm like, I'm not doing one every weekend. We created so much commotion that people would come over and just look at me and go, I don't know who you are, but you must be famous. And they'd buy 10 books. I'd sign them. Thank you for buying the book, Zebras and Cheetahs, right? Here's my point. I'm just now learning how to market myself. For years, I didn't know. I was a good coach, but a poor marketer. Don't matter how good of a coach you are if you're bad at marketing. All of us, to grow a business, have got to become world-class promoters. Yes or no? My daughter's watching that show, The Greatest Showman. It's about P.T. Barnum. She watches that show every night. And I asked her, what are you learning from that show? And she said, man, he had a tough life. People didn't like him. They were against him. I said, no. What you need to be learning from that show is P.T. Barnum was one of the greatest promoters of our time. He knew how to get people to the circus. Because once they get to the circus, see, some of you think, I'll just be really good and everybody, the whole world will know it, which is what I thought. I'll be a great coach and the whole world will know it. And I'm like, no, no, no. I need to become known. Okay? When I spoke at 10X, we made $1 million from me speaking for an hour at 10X. Why? Because I was in front of 10,000 people at one time. Does everybody see that? We didn't make $1 million that day. We made $200,000 that day. Would you take $200,000 for an hour speaking? Yes or no? But here's what that taught me. I need to be on a stage with 10,000 people every week. Yes or no? It's sheer volume. It's just sheer volume. And when you get in front of that many people, if you're any good at all and you have anything to say that's valuable, somebody's going to buy something from you. You know what product I was selling? $497. Did $200,000 of me selling a $497 product. I didn't know how to pitch it. If I was as good then as I am now at pitching my services, I'd have made $2 million that day. And it taught me a valuable lesson, man. We got to become known in the world. It's so much easier to sell something when we're known. Well, you know why? People take your phone call. People listen to you. People want to talk to you. You got to understand this. Branding comes before marketing. And I didn't understand this. Like 2 years ago, I wouldn't spend any money on my videos. So I'd have these videos have 100 views or 200 views. And a branding guy came along and said, man, nobody knows who you are. You're the best kept secret in the whole self-help industry. He's like, you got to first understand. They got to see you over and over and over. How many videos do I do now? I mean, look at how many videos I pump out. It's probably 1,000 on YouTube. It's like video after Facebook Live, after short video, after Instagram video, after this video. Why? Because that is really the first step to selling, is becoming a known person. Once you become a known person, now, right, that comes before marketing. So branding is becoming known. Marketing is a distribution of a message to people who want it. Right? Marketing is distributing a message. Like, I have this, and you need it. You need it. Marketing is me taking this message right to the people that need it. Everybody see that? That's marketing. I am distributing a message to a person to say, I can solve your problem. I can help you. But what if you don't know me? Okay, if you study my model today, it is push people to something for free. Yes or no? Always have something to push people to for free so they can taste the ice cream and decide if they like it or not. So when my salespeople are on the phone, they can say, hey, just come and join Coach Burt here. Oh, just come and see him here. Oh, let me see this video to you. Oh, let me send this to you. There's no pressure right there. Because I know if Eric calls 80 people and they don't even know who I am, there ain't no way in the world he's selling one thing. But if he calls me and goes, oh, yeah, I watch Coach Burt every morning on YouTube. Or, oh, yeah, I'm already in Coach Burt's online academy. Oh, yeah, I saw Coach Burt speak last week. Okay? Now it's easy to sell something. Okay? We had a person see me speak last week at an event. He went right online, paid $3,500 to come to one of my boot camps. I never had one conversation with him. I've never talked to him. He saw me one time. What's the likelihood of him giving me that $3,500 before he saw me speak? 0. So what is your version of giving? Give something, give something, give something, and then ask for something. Give somebody something. Okay, if you own a detailing business, I know we got people on detailing business, give a free detailing. Come out and clean somebody's car real good one time. Let them see how good it is. Then say, hey, if you ever need this thing detailed again, here's my card. No matter when you call me, I'll be ready. I'll be available. That's a whole lot better way to say it than to say, man, no. First time's $100. Give them something. Okay? Selling is outbound effort. If you say, what's a small business really lack? We could go to 20 small businesses right here. I guarantee you, they don't have a sales team. They don't have anybody making an outbound effort. They ain't got anybody making a phone call. Would y'all agree, yes or no? You need an outbound effort every day, working the phones, emails, text messaging, following up with people. Like, it shocks me. One of the reasons I brought Gary Wheeler on is because I want him to build a call center for us. I don't want one Gary Wheeler. I want 25 Gary Wheelers. And I want little seats of people in here all day long making outbound phone calls on every person that's ever watched a video of Coach Burt, every person that's ever liked an Instagram video, every person that's ever come to an event, every customer I've ever had. That's thousands of people to call, by the way. Everybody see that? Now, we're not going to call them, Dre, and try to sell them something. We're going to call them, try to push them to something. See Coach Burt on this video. Watch this live presentation. So we keep a digital assets page that Jack makes that's got this much of my content. And the sales team has the ability to send it to anybody at any time. You say, well, why wouldn't you sell it? I am selling it on my website. But if nobody's buying it, who cares? What I want to do is use it. Eric, take a full day of me doing something and send it to somebody for free. Say, watch this weekend. And you tell me if you don't want Coach Burt to coach you next week. Everybody see that? Use the content you have, okay? So servicing is engagement. Now, let's talk about becoming known. This is my strategy for becoming known in the world. I wrote a book on this called Person of Interest that I most likely will update pretty soon because I wrote the book 10 years ago. Okay? Here's the problem, obscurity. How many of you are real good but nobody knows it? That's your, so what's your problem? Do you have a talent problem or do you have a branding problem? Yeah. Okay? That's a real problem. All right? Now, you take Rutherford County where we live. There's 247,000 people here. All we need is a couple hundred to build a good business. Yes or no? That's how you need to think about it. There's X number of people. I go to Houston every month. There's 6 million people in Houston. Guess what I figured out about building a successful business in Houston? All I need to know is one person that knew a bunch of people. I didn't need to know all 6 million people. I just need to know one influencer, just one. One person that has some juice, okay? So my main plan to become known is I want to give away free value, and I'm going to have you do this in just a second. What can you give away that's free? With a high frequency and a message. So I got a message. And I'm hitting that message over and over and over and over and over, and it's free. Come on, taste the ice cream. It's good. You're going to like it. You're going to want to buy a whole tub of ice cream when I'm done. Right? That's number one. Number two, I want to always push people to something in the future. And I have all kinds of things to push people to. Come to this boot camp. Come to this charity event. Come to this event. Come to that event. We sold a guy into our coaching program that's never bought anything from me ever. And then one night we had a couples night. And he came with his wife. And because he came with his wife, he was exposed to some of the coaching. And I kept just pumping out products. He wouldn't buy any of them. Wouldn't buy this, wouldn't buy that, wouldn't buy this, wouldn't buy that. And then I finally came out with a product. He's like, I want that one. That would have never happened if we wouldn't have had the couples event. I've done kids events where the parents come and then the parents get exposed to things. I've done health events where people come for the health, but they get the coaching. I've done coaching events where people come and get the health. I want people coming in the doors all the time. I don't care how they come in. There is no wasted event. Okay, now I went all the way to Jackson Hole, Wyoming last week to speak to 15 people. And they paid me well to speak. But then I spent an extra day with a small group of people. And you say, well, that was kind of a waste of time. And then they said, well, let's go to dinner, Coach. I said, well, let's go to dinner. And I spent a little bit more time with them. I was tired. I was worn out. But I went to dinner with these guys and I kept talking. And we just kept exchanging energy. And one dude said, now you're going to Coach Burt's coaching summit here next week, right? It's $5,000 per person. He said, tell you what, I'll pay for yours, and I'll pay for yours, and I'll pay for yours. Pay for all three of you dudes if y'all want to go Coach Burt's next week. This dude over here says, how much is your coaching program? I said, he said, can I sign up online right now? I said, boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know is a $20,000 dinner, Mike Brooks. And they paid for my dinner too. Wasn't that sweet? Now here's the deal. You say you went all the way to Jackson Hole for 15 people? No, I went all the way to Jackson Hole for $25,000, plus what they paid me to speak. Everybody see that? Becoming known is if somebody calls you and says, will you do something for 10 people? Your answer needs to be what? You better believe I will. The key to the many is to the one. Winning one person over. One of the biggest coaching contracts I ever signed, 2 people showed up one night. Just 2 people. And I went for 2.5 hours. And one of them was a CEO of a $40 million company. And on the break, she said, you're exactly what I've been looking for. We signed a 4-year, $450,000 contract. What if I would have canceled that workshop because there's only 2 people there? Everybody see that? Okay? T.D. Jakes said, I never set out to be famous, I set out to be effective. And the more effective I became, the more famous I became. See, what you don't know about him is he taught in a small church with 100 people for 10 years. 10 years. Working the muscle, getting better. Then he went to Dallas and started Potter's House. Right? You want to see somebody communicate? Go there and watch him lead a sermon on Sunday morning. It'll just shake you. He's that good. I mean, it was amazing. My point is, when you become known to a few people, boom. Right? We were out at the lodge today, cleaning the lodge. It's beautiful. And my wife used to have this old beat-up Ford Explorer. And she never would wash it or take care of it because it was beat up and had dents in it. And she told me one day that God told her, said, I'm not going to give you anything better if you don't take care of what you got. Right? And she's out there at this beautiful lodge, 8,000 square foot. She said, I'm not going to give you more. That's the voice she heard. I'm not going to give you more until you take care of this little thing. She never would take care of it. You don't get more opportunity until you do what? You be good with what you got right here. Okay? Some of you don't think like that. Okay? Now, always have an offer ready to take action on. So here's our concept. I'm going to give an example. This is how I become known in the world. Always have an offer, strategic partnership, constant introductions of new people. Be remarkable. When you get there, you got to be good. So I'm going to give you an example of some things that we do. Okay, let me see if I can get to it. These are tactics. We call this the showcase. And if you said to me, what's the #1 thing I can do to grow my business? I would tell you, you need to create more showcase events. And a showcase is exactly what it says. It is the ability to showcase your talent. Does everybody see that? It's the ability for somebody to taste the good. So here's 3 examples of 3 things of what I would call a showcase event. 1, tonight, the S.O.S. I just had an idea one Friday afternoon. Man, I need to help small business owners. I'm tired of seeing small business owners get crushed in the United States. I'm tired. I got to help them. I got to give them tactic. I got to give them mindset. So I said, man, I want to do a Save the Small Business Owner. And boom. I immediately called our marketing person. I said, I want graphics. Here's the date. Now let's push people to it. Okay? Now, Megan, how many people registered for this online? 165 people. Now, that is, Tony, 165 people that I'm bringing in the door. Now, it's okay if they don't come tonight, because Jack's filming it. We're going to package it up. We're going to put it on YouTube. We're going to break it into little chunks to send out to people. We're going to send it back out to all the people who didn't make it. We're going to send it out to our database of 15,000 people. It's on Facebook Live right now. People are watching it. So let me ask you an event. Mike, am I doing a free event right now? No, I'm doing a marketing event. Everybody see that? That's right. See, here's the deal. If you want to build a business, you got to brand and market your business, folks. You got to let people taste the goods. I don't know how good you are until you show me. Don't matter how good the product or service is. This is a mistake I made for years. I thought you could just be good. And being good, it all work out. Then I'm watching the big time people do it. And when I spoke at 10X, here's the number 1 thing I learned. All those people were incredible at marketing and branding. You had Damon John, who was incredible at marketing and branding. You had Cardone, who was incredible at marketing and branding. And I'm sitting there watching these dudes, and I'm like, man, they're not any better than me. They're better at marketing than me. They know how to promote. They're showmen. They know how to create buzz and hype and energy. And that's what I'm missing. I'm missing the P.T. Barnum side of this business. Everybody with me? That's what I'm missing. It ain't a talent problem. Okay? So these are events. Okay? Now you see I've got my wife doing it. So now that's our health division of our company. So now we've got a health division. And the first thing I'm telling her, man, you got to do events. I don't care if 1 person comes or 75 people come. You got to be doing something to get people excited. You got to have something to push them to. It could be 4 people, by the way. Could be a dinner. I had dinner literally with 4 people at that dinner on Saturday night in Jackson Hole, and it was literally worth $20,000 to me, just with 4 people. You don't need lots of people. You just need a few people to get this puppy going. Everybody see that? And then there's an event I'm doing October 1st. All of you are invited. It's down there at the hangar where the jet lives. And I had a thought one day. I'm driving home. I said, man, people giving up on their dreams. They did have big dreams, but they quit on their dreams. They've let COVID just shut their whole life down. Now they don't have dreams anymore. Now they're just trying to figure out how to survive. I want to open people's dreamers up. And there ain't nothing to open your dreamer up and standing in a hangar and seeing these big private jets sitting in there and you sitting in one of those and your mind going, oh man, anything's possible for me. Right or wrong? If a high school basketball coach from Woodbury, Tennessee can do this, you can do it. Everybody see where I'm going? I got to find my special. I got to package my special. I got to sell my special. Okay? And somewhere you're missing one of those 3 things. You don't know what you got, you don't know how to package it, and you don't know how to sell it. Or you don't know how to market it appropriately. So these are just made-up events. Dre, where'd I come up with these events at? Just in my mind. Just in my mind, man. I have all these ideas in my mind, and I'm like, when I have an idea, I'm like, we're doing it. Now, do you think that that event at the hangar with the private jets will attract some people in? Yes or no? What else are we going to get, E?
Numbers to call.
That's right. Numbers to call. You know what else we're going to get? Facebook footage and Instagram videos. And look at old Coach Burt. He's out there doing something again, right? I want people going, that dude's doing big things, man. That's what I want people saying, okay? I want you are building your perception here. So when you're thinking about this, these are what I call the showcase. The showcase gives me a chance to see how good you are, to taste the goods, okay? Now, people don't underestimate this. I was looking at potentially adding another vehicle to what we have, because we have these Range Rovers, and they're my businesses lease the vehicles we drive. But I can only go to certain mileage on these vehicles, right? And so I told my wife, I'm like, we really need a work vehicle. That way we can drive it here and there. We ain't got to worry about the mileage, that kind of thing. And so I called one of my buddies and I said, hey man, if you got a Denali or an Escalade or something, I don't want a new one, right? I'm interested in this. The number one thing he can do is drive one right over here to the front door and let me get in it. Yes or no? He don't ever need to say, we'll come over and see one at the lot. Okay? I'm telling you, I tried to buy a vehicle from one of these places here, I ain't going to name them, and I could not get them to bring a vehicle over here to me. I'm like, I'm busy. I ain't got time to come to the dealership. Now, I'm telling you, I'm a qualified buyer. Bring me one of them Escalades over here. I may just buy it right on the spot. Oh, we ain't got enough salesmen around here to bring one over to you, Coach. You got to come over here and see it. I'm like, oh, man, bring it over here. Like that was a foreign concept to him. Like, if you just bring it over here, I'll get it. And guess what? They never did, and they ended up buying the Range Rovers. They lost 2 sales right there. Isn't that dumb? So my point is that a showcase, yes or no? The showcase is show me what you have. Don't tell me, show me. Now, so when you're thinking about this, when I'm going out into the marketplace, this is kind of my statements of belief. When you see me doing the videos, what I'm doing is I'm going, this is what I believe. And I'm just pumping it out. This is what I believe, folks. And I'm asking, who believes it too? Who's interested? Who wants some of this? Okay? And I'm just banging it, boom, every day. This is what I believe. This is what I believe. This is why I believe it. Okay? This is what I do. This is the problem we're trying to solve with this S.O.S. Help the small business owner. This is how we do it different than everybody else. This is my advantage. These are success stories of people we're doing it for. Okay? Now, there always needs to be a what? A call to action. If you like X, come to Y. If you like this, participate in this. Now, there's a young lady that was coaching a real estate team in Houston today, Zoom, and she does TikToks. She's really good. She's TikTok. She makes these little skits, and they're funny, and they're cute, and they're interesting. Here's your number one problem. I can like your stuff on TikTok. That don't mean I'm going to buy anything from you. The TikTok is just the bait. You have to say, if you like this, come here. Do this. Take action on something. If you like what you see, come to the Greatness Factory. If you like what you see, come see me October 1st at the hangar. Everybody see that? Without a call to action, it's all noise, in my opinion. It's fluff. The purpose of me doing the video is what? To produce a customer. The purpose of me doing the event down at the hangar ain't just to hang out with folks. It's, hey, if y'all want to think big like this, get in the coaching program and let's go. Righty? Everything I do comes back to one thing, producing a new customer. Okay? Now, you're about to see me do a 21-day video series on Flip the Switch, because that's a new book I have coming out. So I'm going to do 21 days. Every day is on a different activator. Every day is on flipping the switch. I had tremendous success with my Fight the Funk series. Thousands of views on my Fight the Funk series. I'm going to do a 21-day deal. I'm going to do 3 free webinars. I'm going to push people to a $57 full day. I'm going to make it so ridiculous they can't say no. My goal is to get 500 people at $57. And from those 500 people, have another offer that's a $5,000 offer from the 500. Now, if 20 of them take action, how much money did we make that day? $100,000. Now, how many of y'all would make $100,000 for a day? See, these numbers are numbers I wouldn't think about at 25 years old when I was a basketball coach. I was thinking about how do I make $2,500 a month. Now I'm trying to think of how can I make $250,000 in a day? A day. Is it possible, yes or no? Are there people doing it, yes or no? If you can't think this big, then you ain't never going to do it. That's why when people say, man, $997 is a lot of money. No. If you're struggling with $997, we don't ever need to talk about $997,000. Everybody hear what I just said? Because your mind is thinking so small. I know, because that was me. I didn't know the difference between an asset and a liability at 31 years old. I'm telling you, when I was a basketball coach. I had no concept. Now I'm thinking blue marlin versus bluegill. Everybody understand? So in the gym, it's not sign up 1, it's how do we sign up 30 at a time. Okay, when we're doing a real estate deal, it's not how do we get, right, how do we buy 1 door, how do we get 500? It's not how, right now I'm thinking, how do I raise capital, buy something, and not make a few dollars, but make $2 million at a time. This is thinking so much bigger. Then this is how we got to start thinking. We got to start thinking at a higher frequency. So what's the first step? Get around people thinking at a higher frequency. Okay? So this is the model I use. When you see me do videos, this is what I'm doing. Here's my belief. Here's what we do. Here's how we do it different. Here's some people we're doing it for. We're having success. Now, if you are interested in this, come on down. Check it out. But I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want you to come check it out. If you like it, you can buy it. If you don't like it, it's okay. Right? How many people do we have to go through? Large amounts of people. Okay? Now, there's the question, who would be your blue marlin versus bluegill? Okay? Now, this is the model right here. Create something in the future to push people to and invite people to. I want to remove something in you too. I want to remove a consideration. Anybody know what a consideration is? If you've been in the coaching program, you hear me use that word a lot. A consideration is an internal thought that prohibits you from taking an action. What's a thought? I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to pester a person. I don't want to, they don't want what I have to offer. That's a consideration. Where do these considerations come from? Fear. Where's fear come from? A belief about the past. Right? Confident people have a memory of success. Insecure people have a memory of failure. So, insecure people go, oh, I can never do. What he's talking about tonight, I can never do that. It's not for me. It's for somebody else. Okay? You guys just got back from an event with Brad Lee, Albert Preciado. I know all those guys. Brad Lee called me one day. He said, man, you ought to be doing $2 million a month in your online academy. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I should be. Now, how do we do it? Right? It took him just saying it to me. You can do this. There's nothing stopping you from doing this. My consideration is nobody buy online academy. It's hard to sell an online academy. I'm a live person. People got to see me live. This is an internal belief that I had. When other dudes, he said, look, I could show you another dude that's doing $1 million a month in an online academy. No reason you shouldn't be doing it. That's a consideration. Everybody see that? Internal thoughts that prohibit external actions. So what I try to do with the people I coach is remove that consideration. Okay? I want a person to believe they have unlimited capacity. There's nothing holding them back other than their own self. So I create something in the future to push people to. Okay? I position by concept, meaning if you notice, all of these things are concepts. S.O.S. is a concept. It's not just, hey, come on down to the Greatness Factory for a night. It's, no. Come on down for small business tactic. Come on down for strategy. Come on down for ideas, right? Hey, your health. Last 90 days of the year, let's work on your health. Let's focus on you. Open up your dreamer. How do we open up your dream again? These are all concepts. They're mental constructs. Person of interest is a mental construct. Right? Everybody see that? So when you're creating an event, you want to create, I call it position by concept. Before you become known in the world, create a concept that people would be interested in. If you're buying commercial or if you're buying apartments, how to buy your first apartment complex. Do you know how many people want to buy apartment complexes that don't know how to do it? They have no idea. Where do I go? How do I negotiate? How do I get a deal? Everybody's telling me I should buy an apartment complex. I don't even know what does NOI mean? What is cap rates? How do you purchase it? Where do you get the money from? How much money do you need? You could do a simple series on, hey, here's how to buy your first commercial building. Okay? By the way, they try to sell me this whole commercial building here. I can't make the numbers work because it's only 50% rented. Everybody see this? Could I make it work? Of course I could. The question is, do I want to make it work? How much return on my energy would it take to fill this whole place up with people? That makes sense? And how much could I really make? Well, it's got to be priced appropriately, right, Brian? The whole place has got to be priced appropriately. There's got to be enough cash flow in it. It's got to be worth my time and energy. I got to go out and raise the capital. Everybody with me? I'm not opposed to it. I think it could work. But how do you do it? Okay? Right? How do you lose 35 pounds in 60 days? How do you get in the best shape of your life? You need to be thinking, how can I teach somebody something? Okay? So I want to stop right there, and I want to ask I want you to talk at your table. What's your concept of this? Number one, I got to create something. I got to position by concept. I got to get people to the event. I got to offer significant value. I got to have something to push. Now, I got a buddy that owns a little boutique up here. One of my best friends, his wife owns a boutique, and she is better at getting people in that boutique. She's doing something all the time. Women's nights, kids' nights, this event, that event, grab bags, this. I mean, I'm like, the girl knows how to market, man. These other little small business owners have no idea how to get people in their stores. Here's the deal. She should be teaching other small business owners how to get people in the door because she knows how to do it. That's a whole new revenue source for her. That make sense? They don't know how to do it. She does know how to do it. Now she's got more leads and more business. Take a second and say, what would your version of this be? If I told you got to create something in the future to push people to, what would it be? What would you create tonight if you had to create something to push people to? What's your version of this? What are we really learning? Tony, what are we learning? What are we really learning? About growing a business, small business.
That it's just really just about the people. It's like you said before, it's never a money problem. It's really a people problem.
What you need is more people coming to the circus. Okay? What I'm trying to show you is if you pin me down and said, out of everything you do right now, what's the number one thing growing your business? I would say free things to push people to generate buzz, to drive new people into my database so they can get exposed to something. It is so much easier to sell somebody something after they've tasted it and you've given them great value than it is to try to just sit there and convince them when they don't even know what it is. So if you're starting a business, you know, Tony, if you're going to go out and speak in the world, the best thing you can be doing right now is free webinars, videos, small events, filming anything that you're doing to put it on YouTube so you got a YouTube channel. The best thing you can be doing is giving so people can taste what you have. Okay? That's kind of what I'm trying to show you guys here. This is feeding, you know, in my world, 1,000 new people in a month. Well, out of those 1,000 people, somebody's going to be interested in something, surely. But somebody's still got to call them. Eric White's still making 80 calls a day. Gary's still making 70 calls a day. Somebody's still got to call the people and initiate a concept. This is where small businesses fall off the wagon, man. I could take you around right now in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and go in any of these small businesses, and none of them are calling anybody. And they can't figure out why nobody's coming in there. We've got to close their business down. Well, you're not really initiating an idea. Give me a reason to come in your store. Give me a reason to come shop there. Give me a reason to get involved with you. Right? And if you say right up front, hey, this is how much it costs to get in here, then I may not say, I'm out, man. The car dealer needs to take the car to the person. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Right? So if I don't know you, then there's very little likelihood I'm going to do any business with you, number one. That's one big thing you need to know. You got a branding problem. Marketing is you're not distributing a message. Now, here's the deal. If I do this video tonight, here's what I'm going to do with it. We're going to package it up. I'm going to send it to my marketing director. She's going to turn around and send it out to our database, right? And we're going to watch every person that clicks to watch the video, and then they're going to get a phone call from us. Everybody see that? So what I'm doing tonight is creating 2 hours of content. We're going to package it up. Jack will package it up into short little videos. I may say, look, I want 5 one-minute videos that Eric can use in his sales cycle. Right? Then we're going to hit the database. Did you miss the S.O.S? Coach went for 2 hours on building a business. Then everybody that hits that link to watch that video, we have their information, and we're going to send an email to the sales team that said, here's 500 people that hit the link. Call them. Now, when he calls them, he may not try to sell them anything. What's he going to do? Invite them to something. Give them something for free. Hey, Coach Burt wanted you to have this. This is his full-day boot camp he did. He wants to give it to you. Now, if I say something in one of those videos and that dude goes, you know what? I'm ready to be coached by you. We're going to get somebody because we're throwing our thing out there and we're catching something. Everybody with me? We got a lot of bait, though. We're using all kinds of bait to throw out there to the marketplace. Check this out. See, one of the things we're working on F45, because I travel so much, I said, Dre, I need to be able to work out when I'm on the road. But I want to feel like I'm at F45. I need the timer. I need to feel like I'm in there. So how do we do that? How do we put a camera in there? How do we let you come to class? How do you watch the real class? How do you work out so I don't miss my workouts when I'm on the road? Then, Gary, I could sell F45 to anybody on the planet then. They don't have to live in Murfreesboro. I can say, man, you live in New York City, you can still work out with us. Everybody see that? But it ain't going to happen just by saying it. We're probably going to have to send them some workouts. Let them taste it. Hey, here's a sample 5-day workout. You do this for 5 days? Because what's funny is I went out and promoted F45 and people signed up in other cities. I'm like, well, they don't help us. Because I ain't got any stake in any of those F45s. They'd be like, man, I work out with you, coach, at F45 in Chicago. I'm like, man, that ain't how it works. I need you to work out with me here. I mean, I increase membership in other places. Now, my point is, if we get this thing going, now the dude in Chicago can work out with me. Because if the camera's on and I'm in there in the morning, there's Coach Burt working out. You work out with Coach Burt. Do exactly what he's doing every day. Everybody see that? But it ain't going to sell itself. We got to sell that concept to the marketplace, which means we got to talk to people. Now, here's our strategy. Go back to everybody in the database, create some kind of special or some kind of offer, call and initiate this concept. Hey, we're doing a special for 50 people at this rate. If you pay it in full for 1 year, we need some reason to call people. Because if they didn't buy it the first time, we need to go back to them a second time with a different angle. Everybody see that? It's like running a restaurant saying we got free appetizers. If you come in, eat appetizer, get some food, come get this, right? And the first time I said, man, I just give you the food for free. Just test it out. It's constantly, the purpose of the business is what? Tony, the purpose of the business is what? Generate a new customer, man. And I don't care what we got to do. If we got to go up and on top of this building and create some kind of something for people to come in here, that's what we got to do. Okay? Now, when you think about this concept, this is a concept I created. So many people want to look. See, I tackle a problem. Now, here's something the Undercover Billionaire said, which I thought was pretty good, because I interviewed this dude when he's on the show. The Undercover Billionaire said, here's what most people do. Most people create a product and then go try to find people to sell that product to. Yes or no? Okay? I want to put a greatness factory in Murfreesboro so bad I couldn't stand it. And I kept telling people about it, and they're like, oh, no, man. Murfreesboro? So maybe you ought to put a complacency factory in Murfreesboro. Complacency factory. Maybe, here, one dude told me this. He said, here's a good greatness factory for Murfreesboro. You come, you get a Budweiser, and you get 10 minutes of free coaching and a Budweiser. He said, that's your greatness factory in Murfreesboro, Coach. He said, you could sell that all day long. And I spent $100,000 on the plans for a greatness factory. I bought a piece of land for $500,000 in Murfreesboro. And I didn't do any market testing. I didn't ask anybody, would you come to a greatness factory? Are you interested in being great? How many people here are interested in learning and growing? Out of the whole population, what is the number of people in Rutherford County that want to go play at a higher frequency? How many people would pay for it? Right? Would it even support here? Why do we not have a major steakhouse in Murfreesboro, folks? Why don't we have a Kane Prime or a Jeff Ruby's? Because they've done a little test, and guess what they figured out? That people go to Nashville for the steakhouse. They don't have one here because people don't want to pay $50 in Murfreesboro for a steak. Does that make sense? If they would, we'd have a nice steakhouse here. So all that money I spent on that without asking people what they wanted, then I decided, no, I need to take this to Nashville. Nashville's more progressive. There's 1 million more people supposed to move to Nashville in the next 10 years. It's a much better place for my greatness factory. Now, here's what I'm trying to tell you. The way we think is I create something and everybody will want it. What this little dude on Undercover Billionaire says, no. Let's find out what people want and then let's give it to them. What do people want? Okay? So I created this product for one reason. Look at that stat at the bottom. 81% of Americans say they want to write a book. That's 200 million people. Here's what I said. I've written 16 books. I'll walk you step by step exactly how I can write a book in 30 days. I'll walk you how I generated $100,000 from a book I gave away for free in 90 days. I'll show you exactly how to make money with the book at the Publishing Summit, because that's what people want to do. 81% of people in America want to write a book. Isn't that creating a product that some people want, yes or no? I created the product after I did the market testing, because I didn't have this product. People are always asking me, will you help me write a book? Will you show me how you write a book? Will you show me how you make money with the book? I'll write a book. I got an idea. I've got a book I've never sold. I've got a book here. And I'm like, here's the deal. I'm going to create a 2-day deal, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. That's what you need to know. Okay? That's asking the market. And too many small businesses create something that people don't want. And then they try to sell it to people. They're like, they don't want it, man. They don't want it. Okay? So that's important. Now, let's tackle outbound selling. I'm going to tackle 1 or 2 more concepts, and then we'll let you go home. Okay? Or I may just go until midnight. Who knows? I'm just getting warmed up. Now, how many of you have ever been in a business that had no outbound selling? Raise your hand. Okay? Right? Maybe people showed up, maybe they didn't. Because I was a basketball coach, I never went into a game without tactics to win. Right? And I used to have a play sheet. If you ever see, right? If you ever come watch me coach when I was a basketball coach, I had a play sheet, and it was color-coded. And it was all the plays that we could run to score. And I watched the other team for 2 or 3 hours. And then the play sheet was actually numbered. This is the first play we're going to run, the second play, the third play, the fourth play, the fifth play, the sixth play, the seventh play. And what we're going to do is we're going to chart these plays. And we're going to see which plays work and which ones don't. And I'm going to go in at halftime, so I'd go out. They would run their defense, man-to-man, zone, pressing, whatever. And I go straight to my play sheet. And I'd say the play sheet calls for number 1. And my little assistant would sit beside me, and she'd say, run flex pop. It's okay. Flex pop. That was a set we run. Run flex flare. Run flex down. Run flex screen. Right? Run this. Run this. And we'd run it. And if it worked, we'd sit there, chart it. If it didn't work, chart it. I'd go in at halftime, I'd say, what worked? She'd say, 1, 4, and 6 worked 80% of the time. 2, 3, and 5 worked 20% of the time. I'd say, throw those out. When I go back in the second half, what would I do? I'd run the ones that worked 80% of the time. And I would run them till when? Till somebody stopped them. Sometimes I'd run the same play over and over, and I'd say, just keep running it. Until they figure out how to stop it, just keep running it. And sometimes I'd run the same play 7 straight times. And they never would stop it. Then I got in my business, and I'm like, we don't have enough plays. We don't know which plays work and which plays don't. We're just doing a bunch of crazy stuff, and nobody knows if it's working or not working or what tactics are working. So I routinely ask Eric, I'm like, what's working? What tactics are you using to work? Coach, what's working is getting people to events, let them get excited, have something for them to take action. I said, good, we need to be doing more events then. It's that simple. What ain't working? What ain't working is me trying to get people on the phone and calling 80 people a day, and 2 people answer, and I'm exhausted, and I want to strangle somebody. That ain't working. Okay, good. So what you're telling me is we need to be doing more showcase events. Everybody see that up on the board? The showcase number 7? So guess what I started doing? I'm going to do an event here. Today he said you and your wife ought to do an event for couples. Just a webinar. Just a simple webinar. 30 minutes, 40 minutes. How do y'all live this life? How do you live with the monster? You and my wife wrote the book, Living with the Monster. How do you live with an obsessed person? Let's just do that one thing. What would we be trying to sell there? Couples retreat. Your talk should coincide with your offer. You shouldn't talk about this and then sell this. So the showcase is, there's all kinds of showcases you could do. If I said, man, I'm doing an event for kids this week, I'm going to teach them emotional toughness and how to bounce back, how to be tough, we could fill this place up with kids. But we don't need to fill them up with kids unless we have something to sell to the kids. Next. Does that make sense? Like I'm doing a camp, a boot camp. Okay? And right now, because I got 2 kids, you couldn't pay me enough money to do a boot camp for kids. Okay? Because I got all the kids I need. And just keeping them little kids, we're going, it's just enough for me right now. Okay? But my point is, look at all the tactics I use in a day. So 9 o'clock comes. 8:30 I have my meeting. Get everybody excited. Activate the pray drive in my team. 9 o'clock comes, we go straight to the play sheet. Who we calling? Hit list represents anybody who can give us new money. Everybody with me? Could it be a strategic partner, yes or no? Let me give an example. I saw where a guy named Chris Rude, he's a wholesaler, real estate wholesaler. He owns a real estate coaching business. I saw where he was going to be in Destin having a real estate event the same time I'm going to be down at our couples retreat. And I picked up the phone, I texted him, and I said, man, I'm going to be down there at the same time you are. If you want me to come over and say a few words, you've been good to me. If you want me to come over and teach pray drive to your people, I'd be happy to. No obligation. If you don't want me to do it, you're not going to hurt my feelings. He immediately, yes, I'd love for you to be there. Great. So then it's like, when can you come? He said, I got 15 people. They're all paying $5,000 a piece to be at this retreat. That's good. It's a good number, right or wrong? Now, why would I do that? Because I'm going to get in front of 15 new people. Here's what he's going to do. He's going to promote it on his what? Social media. Coach Burt, America's coach, is going to be here. He said, why I got you on the phone, do you want to speak at my skill-a-thon? He said, people really liked you last year. There's another 500 people. I said, you bet I do. So that one phone call could put me in front of 500 more people. Everybody see that? That was a hit list phone call. Any activity you take which could drive new opportunity is a hit list phone call. Okay? Now, I got this guy I do some business with, Ricky Caruth, down in Alabama, as a real estate agent. He does 100+ deals a year with no team. That's his niche. He picks up the phone and calls homeowners all day long. Hey, this is Ricky Caruth. Almost all of them, because of his branding and marketing, say, oh, we know who you are. I've heard of you, Ricky. And he's like, oh, great. Just calling to connect with you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Just want you to know if you ever have a real estate need, if you ever need somebody to help you represent buying or selling, I just want to make a connection with you, let you know who I am, and I'm here to help you. That is a hit list phone call. I'm just calling to initiate an idea with you. Does everybody see that? I'm just calling you. So a hit list is anything that represents new money. Could be a strategic partnership. Could be a current client that you're trying to get a referral from. Could be a past client. One of the things that Eric said to me today is, man, there's people coming back around, Coach, that were with you. These two right here were with me when I was coaching, what, 6 people in this training room over here, right or wrong. I was renting the training room. And I was renting it from Mr. Swanson, and I had maybe 6 people in there on a good day.
And you're still in your zebra jacket.
Yep, I was still in my zebra jacket. This is what, 10 years ago? 7 years ago?
Yeah, probably 7 years ago.
Yeah. Eric told me today, so man, there's been people that have been with you that are now coming back, man. All the stuff you're pushing, all the things you're doing. These are people that are with you that are coming back. It's good. A hit list is somebody I'm initiating something with. Could be a past client, say, man, I got a new deal. Got a new way of doing it. I got a better way of doing it. Got a new pricing structure. I got a new something. I'm calling you to share an idea with you. You may or may not like it, by the way. Okay? And if you don't like it, I got another idea. I had lunch with a little door-to-door salesman up there in Idaho. And I went down this path, and man, come to the retreats that I do this, do this. And he said, I don't really like that idea, Coach. I'm gone too much anyway, and I got kids. It's okay. What if I came to you and did just a retreat for your people? He said, oh, I would love that. All I'm doing is presenting an idea to him. So then I follow up with him. That's called the Farm Club. Everybody see the Farm Club? Farm Club are people who have indicated interest in my idea. Now I'm following up with those people. This is where people fall off the wagon, yes or no? I like what you had. I told you I was interested. I'm not ready to do it. I need you to follow up with me. Follow up with me until we have a deal. Until we have a deal signed. Everybody see that? Man, I can't tell you how many people come at me randomly. I mean, I just give my Instagram for a day and see how many people message me. Random. Then I never hear from them again. Hey, I want to spend a day with you, Coach Burt. Oh, I never hear from you again. Hey, I want an intern, right? We had a little intern, worked for us for one day. And he said, no, I can only intern from 3:30 to 4:30 and 6 to 7 on this day. And I'm like, man, this ain't going to work. For you to actually learn from me, what do you have to do, Justin? You got to be around me. You can't be an intern when you're only available an hour a day. Okay? Like, you don't get to pick the rules when you're an intern. Okay? Here's my point. This is the world we live in. I called Dre, and I present an idea to him. He tells me I like it, and then I never follow up with him again on the idea. The idea is not going to sell itself, right or wrong. I need to call Dre again and again and again, and then I need to text him about it, and then I need to email him about it, and then I need to send him a video about it, and then I need to follow up, then I need to have somebody else call him. Like I was working a dude today, said, man, I'm signing up for your coaching program right now. He still ain't signed up, I think. So I texted Eric. I said, man, you bang on him. Because I sent it to him via Facebook Messenger. Then I sent it to him via text message. Then I said, Eric, you call him. Keep working him, man. He wants to do it. The dude told me this morning he wants to do it. What happened? What happened to him, Gary? He got distracted. He got busy today. He forgot about it. Now, is it his job to come back to me, or is it my job to stay in his face? Until I get him in the coaching program, it is my job to stay right there in his face. And I can't tell you how many people do a terrible job of this. Okay? And I've seen people on huge deals do a terrible job of follow-up. When I was going to put my Greatness Factory in Nashville, where I was looking at doing it, I asked, could I buy the space? They said, yeah, you can buy it for $4.4 million. Then it's going to cost me $1.6 million to build it out. I said, okay, let me see if I can work it out. How many times they called me back? Not one time. Now, you would think for $6 million, somebody called me back. Here's another one. When I closed on my house in Florida, the real estate agent made $84,000 of commission. How many times did she call me back, Mike? Never. Not one time. She never even thanked me.
No thanks?
No thanks. $84,000 commission. And she never even called me one time to say, congratulations, thank you for this big check. Here's the deal. How many other people could I send her? Don't you think I got friends that want to have houses down there? Don't you think? What do you think I'm going to tell? Oh, go to her. She'll make a good $100,000 off of you and never call you back. It's the kind of woman she is. I ain't going to refer her to anybody. Come on, folks. So my point is, when you think about how people think, the word transaction means to discard. This is a transaction. I don't need you anymore. That is not the kind of business you want to build. You want to build a business where you're involved, where you're transforming people's lives. They are changed by you. They are in a better position because of you. Therefore, they want to be engaged with you more often. Yes or no? Transaction means, man, don't call me. Don't bother me anymore. Okay? So I work the farm club hard. Now, I'm going to give you one or two more. The top 25 is one of my best strategies. This is where you build 25 deep relationships with influential people. And I want you to remember two words when it comes to the top 25. Flow and frequency. Big-time people of interest are moving. They are not static. If you want some of their influence, you have to move with them. Everybody see that? They're moving. You can't just expect them to slow down for you. So if you want influencers helping you, you got to get involved in their life. And you got to be consistent in their life. And so I have 25 relationships. Okay, if you see me and Tim Story becoming big friends, celebrity life coach, me and Sharon Lecter wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, are becoming good friends. But they got other people who want to be their friends too. I got to stay right in the flow with them. I got to stay right. How you doing? Good to see you. Can't wait to see you. Let's have dinner when we're in Phoenix together. How can I help you? Flow. So I have 25 what I would call power players. These people have lots of influence. What I want to do is stay in their life. How you doing? Good to see you. What can I do to help you? Appreciate you. Right? Flow. Because these 25 people can open doors for you like you can't imagine. They can open doors for you. If you said, what's the number one strategy you have for making the most money? I'd say it's the top 25.
Who's in your room?
Who's in your room? And how often do you connect with those people? Okay? Now, I've got a real estate agent here in Murfreesboro that takes me to breakfast every Saturday morning. I got a standing invitation. If you want to go to breakfast, Coach, I'll take you every Saturday morning. Why? Because he knows the power of referrals. Right? He's got his team calling me. Coach, we appreciate you. Thanks for using us. Thank you for everything you do. Right? Whole team's involved in this because I'm one of those top 25s for him. So a lot of people get this. Now, if I had to give you one more that I think would be very, very important to grow in your business, I'm just going to pick number 5 tonight because I don't talk about this one a lot. The aspirational contact is people that you reach up to, that you aspire to be like one day. They're like your heroes. And when you're around your heroes, they inspire you, activate your prey drive. So I'm always constantly asking, like, how do I get in a room with that dude? How do I learn from that person? How do I get around big-time people? Because, man, they inspire me when I get around big-time people. And if you're in a rut, or you're complacent, or you're bored, all you got to do is place yourself in proximity to great people. And they will activate a drive in you like you can't imagine. They will inspire you to do bigger things on planet Earth. They will open your mind to new possibility. Now, we're live streaming this tonight, and let me tell you why. In 2012, I was at a conference in Riviera Maya, Mexico, with Cardone and his wife, Brad Lee and his wife, Matt Monero and his wife, and I took my wife, Natalie. This is back in the early days, and my wife was not involved in personal development at the time. She wasn't reading books. She wasn't studying things. And I said, we're going to Mexico to this conference. She said, great. I'm going to sit out there all day long and drink margaritas. And I said, no, that ain't how this is going to work. You and me, are going to this conference. After we get coached in the mornings, then we can go out by the pool and drink margaritas. I said, because I want you to watch how these big-time people interact with each other. And the second day, she's watching Grant and Elena Cardone. She's watching Brad and Melissa Lee. She's watching Matt Monero and Rocky, his wife, these big-time people, how they interact. And she came to me and she said, oh, now I understand. I see how these power couples interact with each other. I see how they're on the same page, trying to do big things together. She said, now I get it. And I'm going to tell you, it changed her life. She came home a whole new woman. Now, I could have told her 1,000 times, but until she experienced it, she saw it with her own eyeballs. Then she came back and she started studying successful women. And she wanted to, she wrote her own book. And she's doing her own things. And she's got a new confidence. Everybody see that? And I said, man, you need to be around big-time people. So Doug and Tia Wood were talking to her about coming out there to Phoenix. And I said, you need to go. You need to go be around them. Go stay at their house. Wherever they want you to do, go do it. You need to be in proximity to big thinkers. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay? Now, people in Murfreesboro or my little town of Woodbury can say whatever they want to about me, but one thing they can't say is that dude don't think big. Because I'm going places. And I'm around today some of the biggest thought leaders in the world. I mean, I'm doing an event next week with Tim Story and Sharon Lecter. I mean, the woman sold 42 million copies of her book. Tim Story has coached Robert Downey Jr. He's been on Oprah Winfrey, Super Soul Sunday. Like, these ain't little starter people, folks. So how do you get in a room with those people? You got to get in a room with them. Right? Like, you don't just pretend to want to be around. Like, you say, man, what do I do to help you? How do I get in a room with you? Okay? So I want to encourage you as a small business owner. What I find is that sometimes you just don't even know. You just go out there and beat your head against the wall every day because you don't know any better, right or wrong. You're just doing it the only way you know how to do it. And the way we're working ain't working. And sometimes all it takes is one conversation. Well, let me tell you what Cardone said to me when I was down there. I'm out there by the pool, Mexico. I'm like, man, this is good. This 10X, I'm going to go back and 10X it in Murfreesboro. He's like, Murfreesboro? He's sitting there looking at me like, where's Murfreesboro? He's like, look, I don't ever hear that come out of your mouth again. Okay? I don't ever want to hear you say that again. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm going to go back and 10X it. He said, your market is not Murfreesboro. He said, your market is planet Earth. From this day forward, when you start talking about doing anything, you are doing it on the planet. You are not doing it just in Murfreesboro. And the way he said to me is like, man, it kind of hit me. It's like, oof, thought I was doing good here. Right? Like, people in Murfreesboro know me. And so I came back, and guess what I did? I started simulcasting my programs. And today we have customers in Singapore, London, all over the world. Okay? Other people watch us. Now, why is that? Because he said to me, you're playing too small, man. Your think is down here. I need you to think up here. That's the power of getting in the room with people, okay? Now, here's what we're going to do, because I don't want to keep you here all night, and I got enough stuff to keep you here all night. So I'm going to end with one thing. If you are thinking about having a coach in your life, and you say, man, with a coach, I'm going to play at a much higher level. One of the best things we've been doing is we've been having a starter entry point into Monster Producer at $997. Okay? And then you tack on a boot camp for $500 and you get a year's worth of coaching plus a boot camp for $1,497. And I told Eric one day, when we get up into the $5,000 range, I think the coaching that we offer is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And I told Justin the other day, if he don't sell one more sign because of my coaching, then something's bad wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should take the investment and multiply his investment. Right or wrong? What's the greatest investment you have?
Yourself.
In you. So I tell people all the time, when you get in a coaching program like mine, you ain't investing in me. You're investing in you. You're committing to you. So we've had Monster Producer for years. Y'all were in it, I think, years ago, right? Something, I don't even know if it's called Monster Producer back then. Okay. And it's been $299, $399, $499, $5,000, $6,000. And I finally said to my team, let's make it affordable for everybody. If they want to put it in the payment plans, they can put it in the payment plans. I don't care. I just want to help more people with their business. Okay? So we went to a pricing model, and right now it's $997. Then it's $500 to add a boot camp on for a year's worth of coaching. And we probably at least signed up 50 new people this month. And I see the day that we're signing up 100 people a month. I really do. So if you're watching this online or you're watching it in person, here's what I'll tell you. You got to ask yourself one question. Do you think your business will be better off with me behind you or not? Do you think you'd be in a better position with me in there fighting for you every day or not fighting with you every day? That's what I tell people every day. You think you're going to make one more deal because of me if I coach you for a year, or 5 more deals, or 15 more deals, or 30 more deals? That's what you got to ask yourself. And if you ask yourself that, and you say, man, this is a no-brainer. With this little dude, this little bald-headed dude in my corner, I'm going to make a lot more money. Now, all I can speak for is my work with F45, which is one of our greatest success stories. My first month with F45, they had the largest number of members since they opened the gym. 41 new members. During the middle of a little bit of pandemic, folks. You know what all my advisors said? Don't you dare invest in a gym. Everybody on my financial team tried to get me not to do it. Don't do it. Don't invest in it. Like everybody said, stay as far as you can away from that. You don't open a gym or a restaurant during the COVID. So they told me. And I said, you know what, just because y'all said that, I'm going to do it. Because I know we can make it work. Well, in the very first month, we implemented some strategies. They're already generating more members, more customers, more money, just with just a few tweaks, wouldn't you say? Now, here's the deal. There's 2,000 F45s in the world, by the way. If we can make this one work, get it to the X number of members, don't think we can go to those other 2,000 and say, hey, let me show you how we did it. There's always a bigger play in everything you need to do, folks. So I'm challenging you tonight, okay? Some of you are already in the coaching program, and I appreciate that. That means the world to me, okay? Some of you are joining me, like Gary Wheeler comes from Memphis to join my team. It means the world to me. Justin Myers in the back came from South Carolina to join my team. Megan came from the big city of Woodbury to join my team. I'm going to take that girl places. Eric White came from Mississippi to join my team. Like you know, when you think about joining, what you're really joining is a movement, man. I will have 1,000 members in here. And when I have 1,000 people in here, do you know the amount of exchange and energy that's happening when you got 1,000 people involved in something? Just study the discipleship theory. You get 1,000, man, you can impact 10,000, and 10,000 can impact a million. I'm telling you, it just goes and goes and goes and goes. So if you're here tonight and you're interested in that, then Eric's here. He can sign you up. Megan can sign you up. I think just imagine what you got tonight. Imagine getting it every week. Every single week of getting coaching, because every Monday I'm on there coaching folks, right? And guess what? You don't sign up for Coach Burt and get Coach Kurt. Can't stand them coaching programs where you sign up to get somebody and you get some other dude. And that other dude ain't any good. So when you sign up, you get me, okay? You're getting me, and you're getting me fighting for you every single day, and we put our heart and soul into this business. So I want to thank you for coming tonight, okay? And good to see y'all coming, a little blast from the past. We're getting old band back together. So thank you for coming tonight. A little pardon back there in the back. Thank you for coming from Woodbury. You came all the way from Woodland, Tennessee, right? See, now all the people I grew up with are coming back to me. We're making some serious headway here, right? We're getting some of the Woodbury folks. So if you're watching online, guys, you guys can take action on this. Jack's going to post a link. Okay, you guys can take action tonight. If you're in the room and you want to take action, I'd love to have you. If not, no obligation. I'm not trying to hard sell you. If you're in the program and you want to get another year, I'll give it to you at the rate that I'm giving it to you tonight. But we are here to help you. And the purpose of any event we do like this is what? What, Dre? We want to sign some folks up, man. That's the whole reason we give it to you, okay? It's a showcase, baby. All right, so God bless you. Thanks for coming tonight. If you're in, just see Eric. He can take care of you. All the people online, everybody needs a coach. Thank you.